The Great Hall of Nexus Prime Station buzzed with voices from across the galaxy. 12 different alien species had gathered for this special meeting. Their representatives sat in a giant circle, each behind curved desks that floated in the air. Strange lights and sounds filled the room as the aliens talked in their own languages. Ambassador Hyunwoo stood in the center of the circle. He was the only human in the room. His dark suit looked simple compared to the colorful robes and armor worn by the aliens around him. He kept his face calm and his hands behind his back. The Vorthak leader spoke first. Its voice sounded like rocks grinding together. The translator machine made its words clear to everyone. Human representative, you stand before the Galactic Council on this day of judgment. Hyunwoo said nothing. He had been trained for this moment. Earth's government knew this day would come. A tall, blue-skinned Krellian stood up next. War scars covered its face and arms. The Terran Empire has broken too many rules. You expand into space that does not belong to you. You build weapons that are too powerful. You refuse to share your technology with the Council. Other aliens began to speak. The insect-like Zathari clicked their mandibles in agreement. The floating gas beings called ethereals pulsed with angry colors. Each species had complaints about humanity. You humans appeared in our galaxy only 20 years ago, said another Vorthak. In that short time, you have caused nothing but trouble. You take worlds that other species claimed first. You ignore our laws and our borders. The Krellian commander slammed his fist on his desk. Your quantum drive ships move faster than anything we have ever seen. Your weapons can destroy our strongest shields. This technology is dangerous in the wrong hands. And your hands are clearly the wrong hands, added a reptilian Sorak. You are young and wild. You do not understand the balance we have kept in this galaxy for thousands of years. Hyunwoo listened to each complaint. He had heard them all before. The Council had been sending angry messages to Earth for months. Each message demanded that humanity stop expanding. Each message threatened punishment if humans did not obey. The Vorthak leader raised one of its 4 arms for silence. Human ambassador, the Galactic Council has made its decision. We give the Terran Empire one final chance to avoid war. The hall became quiet. Even the translator machine stopped humming. These are our demands, the Vorthak continued. First, all human colonies beyond the Sol system must be abandoned immediately. Second, all human ships with quantum drives must be surrendered to the Council. Third, all human weapon designs must be shared with Council scientists. Fourth, Earth must accept a Council governor to watch over human activities. The blue Krellian stepped forward. You have 30 standard days to accept these terms. If you refuse, the combined fleets of all 12 Council species will enforce our will. Other aliens nodded their heads or made sounds of agreement. The Zathari clicked excitedly. The ethereals pulsed bright red with satisfaction. They all seemed sure that humanity would have no choice but to surrender. Our fleets number in the tens of thousands, bragged a Saurak general. We have ships from 12 different worlds, each with their own weapons and tactics. No single species has ever stood against the full might of the Galactic Council. The Vorthak leader looked down at Hyunwoo. Ambassador, you may speak now. What is humanity's response to our generous offer? Hyunwoo had been quiet for over an hour. Now all eyes in the Great Hall focused on him. The aliens expected him to ask for more time. They expected him to beg for mercy. They expected him to negotiate for better terms. Instead, Hyunwoo looked up at the Vorthak leader. His voice was calm and clear when he spoke. No. The single word echoed through the hall. For a moment, no one moved. The aliens looked confused as if they had not heard correctly. What did you say? Asked the Krellian commander. I said no, Hyunwoo repeated. The Terran Empire rejects your demands. All of them. The hall exploded with noise. Aliens shouted in their own languages. Some stood up from their floating desks. Others waved arms or tentacles in the air. This is madness, yelled the Saurak general. You cannot fight the entire galaxy. You are one small species from one small world, added another Vorthak. We have conquered hundreds of worlds. Our technology has been tested in 1,000 wars. Hyunwoo waited for the noise to die down. When the hall became quiet again, he spoke. The Terran Empire does not surrender to ultimatums. We do not abandon our people. We do not give up our freedom. The Vorthak leader's eyes glowed with anger. Then you choose war. Your species will learn what happens to those who defy the Council. Perhaps, said Hyunwoo, but I think it is the Council that will learn something new. He turned and began walking toward the exit. His footsteps echoed in the silent hall. "Where are you going?" demanded the Krellian. "We are not finished with you." Hyunwoo stopped and looked back over his shoulder. "Yes, you are. The Terran Empire has heard your threats. Now you will see our response." He walked out of the Great Hall, leaving 12 alien species behind him. They sat in stunned silence for several minutes. Finally, the Vorthak leader spoke. "Send messages to all council fleets. Tell them to prepare for war. This human arrogance will be crushed." But some of the aliens looked worried. The human ambassador had seemed too calm, too confident. It was as if he knew something they did not. As Hyunwoo's ship left Nexus Prime Station, he sent a coded message back to Earth. The message was short. They took the bait. Proceed with Plan Prometheus. Back on the station, the aliens began planning the largest war fleet in galactic history. They did not know that humanity had been preparing for this moment for 20 years. They did not know that everything they thought they knew about human technology was wrong. The Galactic Council had just made the biggest mistake in their long history. They were about to learn why humanity had survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. They were about to discover what happened when you threatened the human species. The countdown to war had begun, but not the war the aliens expected. The war room on Terra Nova was deep underground, protected by layers of steel and energy shields. Emperor Dong-hyun sat at the head of a long table made of black stone. Around him sat the most important people in the Terran Empire. Fleet Admiral Shung-ho was a tall man with gray hair and serious eyes. He had fought in the colony wars and knew more about space battles than anyone alive. Next to him sat Intelligence Director Yoon-ji, a quiet woman who seemed to know everyone's secrets. Defense Minister Ji-hoon completed the inner circle, his scarred hands folded on the table. "Report," said Emperor Dong-hyun. His voice was calm, but his eyes burned with controlled anger. Admiral Sung-ho stood up and pressed a button on the table. The room filled with holographic images of alien ships. Thousands of them floated in the air above the table, showing the size of the enemy fleet. "The Council has assembled 53,000 ships," Sung-ho said. "They come from 12 different species, each with their own weapons and fighting styles. The Krellians bring heavy battleships. The Vorthak have fast attack cruisers. The Soraks use swarm fighters. It's the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history," added Ji-hoon. "They're gathering at the edge of Council space, preparing to move into human territory." Emperor Dong-hyun nodded slowly. "And our response?" Director Yoon-ji leaned forward. "Agent Minji has been watching them for weeks. She's hidden on one of their command ships, sending us detailed information about their plans." The hologram changed to show battle formations and attack routes. Red lines showed how the alien fleet would move through human space, striking at colony worlds and supply bases. "They plan to hit us hard and fast," Yoon-ji continued. "They think we'll surrender after they destroy a few colonies. They believe humans are cowards who will give up rather than fight a real war." Admiral Seung-ho smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "They're about to learn how wrong they are." Emperor Dong-hyun stood up and walked to a large window that looked out over the city. Terra Nova stretched as far as the eye could see, its towers reaching toward the stars. Millions of humans lived and worked in those buildings, unaware that war was coming. "Tell me about Project Prometheus," the Emperor said without turning around. Director Yoon-ji pressed another button. The hologram changed again, this time showing human ships. But these ships looked different from the ones the aliens had seen before. They were sleeker, more advanced, with strange energy signatures. "For 20 years we've been showing the galaxy our old technology," Yoon-ji explained. "The ships they've seen, the weapons they know about, all of it is at least 10 years out of date. Our real fleet uses quantum phase drives," added Admiral Sung-ho. "We can move through dimensions that the aliens don't even know exist. Our weapons manipulate gravity itself, bending space and time." "The aliens think they know what humans can do," said Ji-hoon. "They've studied our colony ships and patrol vessels, but they've never seen our true warships." Emperor Dong-hyun turned back to face his advisors. "How many ships do we have?" 2,000 frontline vessels, Seung-ho replied. "Each one more powerful than anything in their fleet." "Only 2,000? The Emperor raised an eyebrow. "Sir, with respect, we don't need more," Seung-ho said confidently. "One of our destroyers could take on 50 of their battleships. Our technology is that far ahead." Director Yoon-ji nodded in agreement. "We've been very careful to hide our real capabilities. Every time alien spies tried to steal our technology, We let them steal the wrong information. Every time they watched our military exercises, we made sure they saw outdated equipment. The council thinks they're dealing with primitives who got lucky with a few advanced inventions, added Ji-hoon. They have no idea that human science has moved beyond anything they can imagine. Emperor Dong-hyun sat back down. What about our colonies? The civilians? All protected, sir, Admiral Sung-ho replied. Every colony world has hidden defense platforms. The aliens will find that our defenseless settlements are actually fortified positions with weapons they've never seen before. The Emperor was quiet for a long moment, thinking. Finally he spoke. The Council gave us 30 days to surrender. I think we should respond sooner than that. What are your orders, sir? Asked Admiral Sung-ho. We will not wait for them to attack our people, Emperor Dong-hyun said firmly. We will show the galaxy exactly what happens when someone threatens humanity. He stood up again and began walking around the table. For too long we have hidden our strength. We have let other species think they are superior to us. This ends today. Director Yoon-ji, I want psychological warfare operations to begin immediately. Let every species in the galaxy know that humanity is not afraid. Yes, sir, Yoon-ji replied. I have agents ready to begin broadcasting our response across all Council communication networks. Admiral Sung-ho, prepare the fleet for Operation Revelation. It's time to show the galaxy what human technology really looks like. With pleasure, sir, the Admiral said with a grim smile. The crews have been waiting for this moment. Minister Ji-hoon, activate all defense systems. If any alien ship enters human space without permission, destroy it. Already done, sir, Ji-hoon replied. Our borders are sealed. Emperor Dong-hyun returned to his seat. Gentlemen, lady, the Galactic Council has made a terrible mistake. They think they can intimidate us with threats and ultimatums. They believe their numbers give them power over us. He leaned forward, his eyes hard as steel. They are about to learn that humanity did not crawl out of caves and build starships by being weak. We survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. We turned a hostile planet into our garden and reached for the stars. The Council wants to see what humans do when threatened, the Emperor continued. Very well. We will show them. Outside the underground war room, night was falling over Terra Nova. But across the Terran Empire, human ships were already moving. The galaxy was about to witness something it had never seen before. Humanity unleashed. 20 years earlier, the human exploration ship Discovery had made first contact with the galaxy in a very different way than most people knew. Captain Wu Jin stood on the bridge watching as alien ships surrounded his vessel. Next to him, xenobiologist So Young studied the readings from their sensors. Captain, I'm detecting 12 different ship types, So Young reported. Their technology is impressive, but not as advanced as I expected. Wu Jin nodded. The Discovery was humanity's most advanced ship at the time, equipped with experimental quantum drives and dimensional shields. But as they approached the alien fleet, he made a decision that would change galactic history. Power down the quantum systems, he ordered. Switch to fusion drives only. I want them to think we're using primitive technology. Sir? His first officer asked in confusion. Trust me, Wu Jin replied. If these aliens think we're more advanced than them, they might see us as a threat. Better to appear weak until we understand their intentions. That first meeting with the Galactic Council had been carefully planned by humanity. While the aliens thought they were studying primitive humans, the humans were actually studying them. Every piece of technology, every military formation, every political structure, all of it was recorded and analyzed. Now, in the present day, Commander Taemin stood on the bridge of the destroyer Indomitable. He was about to put 20 years of preparation to the test. Sir, Council patrol fleet approaching, his tactical officer reported. 30 ships, mixed types. They're demanding we surrender immediately. Taemin looked at the enemy ships through the main viewer. They were impressive vessels, each one larger than his destroyer. Any normal human ship would be outgunned and outnumbered, but the Indomitable was not a normal ship. Open a channel, Taemin ordered. The screen filled with the image of a Krellian commander. His blue skin was covered with war tattoos and his eyes burned with arrogance. Human vessel, you are in violation of Council space. Surrender now and your crew will be treated fairly. Taemin smiled. This is Commander Taemin of the Terran destroyer Indomitable. You have 30 seconds to clear this area. The Krellian laughed. One human ship against 30 council vessels? You must be insane. 29 seconds, Taemin replied calmly. Weapons officer, target that human ship, the Krellian ordered. Prepare to fire on my command. 15 seconds. Taemin continued counting. The alien fleet began moving into attack formation. Energy weapons powered up, casting colorful glows across their hulls. The Krellian commander seemed amused by human defiance. 5 seconds, Taemin announced. Fire, shouted the Krellian. 30 alien ships unleashed their weapons at once. Plasma bolts, particle beams, and missile swarms streaked toward the Indomitable. It should have been destroyed instantly. Instead, every shot passed harmlessly through the human ship as if it wasn't there. What? The Krellian commander stared in shock. That's impossible. Dimensional phase shift complete, reported the Indomitable's tactical officer. We're slightly out of normal space-time. Their weapons can't touch us. Commander Taemin stood up from his captain's chair. Now it's our turn. Weapons officer, activate the gravity cannons. Yes, sir. Targeting all 30 ships. The Indomitable didn't have traditional weapons like plasma guns or missile launchers. Instead, it carried devices that could manipulate gravity itself, bending space and time like clay. Fire, Taemin ordered. The destroyer unleashed invisible waves of gravitational force. To the alien crews, it seemed like space itself was turning against them. Their ships began spinning helplessly as artificial gravity fields grabbed them. One by one, the 30 council vessels found themselves unable to move or fight. Their weapons powered down automatically, as their systems tried to compensate for the impossible gravitational effects. This is impossible, the Krellian commander shouted. No species has this technology. You're right, Taemin replied. No other species does. With another gravitational pulse, the Indomitable lifted all 30 alien ships and moved them to a safe distance. The ships were completely undamaged, but their crews were stunned and helpless. Listen carefully, Taemin broadcast to all 30 ships. This is just a demonstration. We could have destroyed you all in seconds, but we chose not to. Consider this a warning. The Krellian commander tried to speak, but no words came out. The Galactic Council thinks it knows what humanity can do, Taemin continued. You've been watching us for 20 years, studying our ships and our weapons, but everything you think you know is wrong. The gravity fields around the alien ships began to fade, returning control to their crews. Go back to your leaders, Taemin commanded. Tell them that humanity has been hiding its true strength. Tell them that we are not the primitive species you thought we were. One of the alien ships tried to run away, but found itself held in place by invisible forces. Tell them, Taemin's voice grew harder, that the Terran Empire does not respond well to threats. With a final gravitational wave, the Indomitable released all 30 ships and disappeared. One moment it was there, the next it had vanished completely, leaving no trace on any sensor. The alien crews sat in stunned silence, trying to understand what had happened. Their most advanced sensors showed impossible readings. Their computers could not explain the technology they had witnessed. On his command ship, the Krellian commander stared at empty space where the human destroyer had been. His hand shook as he opened a communication channel to Council headquarters. This is Commander Vexkar, he said quietly. Priority alert to the High Council. We have a problem. Across the galaxy, similar encounters were taking place. Human ships appeared at the edges of Council space, demonstrating impossible technology and delivering the same message. The Terran Empire was not what the aliens thought it was. The news spread quickly through alien communication networks. Species that had never worried about humanity began to pay attention. The Galactic Council's intelligence agencies scrambled to understand how they had been so completely fooled. But it was already too late. Humanity had revealed just enough of their true capabilities to change everything. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted in a single day, and the Council's threats suddenly seemed very hollow. In the depths of space, more human ships were moving. The demonstration was just beginning. The news traveled faster than light across the galaxy. In every Council world, the same message was being repeated. Humanity was not what they seemed to be. Fleet Commander Kyung-Soo received his orders while his task force waited in deep space. His mission was simple but terrifying to the alien species. Visit every major Council military base and show them exactly what human technology could do. First target is the Vorthak Naval Station at Rigel Prime, his tactical officer reported. Intelligence says they have over 300 ships stationed there. Good, Kyung-soo replied. Time to make our point clear. His task force consisted of only 12 human ships, each one equipped with the latest quantum technology. To any observer, it looked like a suicide mission. 12 ships against hundreds seemed hopeless, but Kyung-soo knew better. The human ships appeared at Rigel Prime without warning. One moment the space around the alien base was empty. The next moment 12 sleek vessels materialized from nowhere. Admiral Zeth Vor, the Vorthak commander, stared at his screens in confusion. How did they get here? Our sensors detected nothing. Unknown, sir, his sensor officer replied with forearms shaking. They just appeared. All ships, battle stations. Zeth Vor commanded. Prepare to engage the human fleet. 300 Vorthak warships moved into attack formation, their weapons charged up ready to destroy the small human force. The alien crews were confident. They had overwhelming numbers. Commander Kyung-soo opened a communication channel. His face appeared on screens throughout the Vorthak fleet. This is Fleet Commander Kyung-soo of the Terran Empire. We are here to deliver a message. Your message can wait until after your surrender, Admiral Zeth Vor replied angrily. You are outnumbered 25-1. Numbers don't matter when you have the right tools, Kyung-soo said calmly. Watch and learn. The 12 human ships suddenly split apart, each one becoming dozens of smaller vessels. What had been 12 ships was now over 300, exactly matching the Vorthak fleet in number. Impossible, Zeth Vor shouted. Ships cannot multiply like that. Holographic projection technology, Kyung-soo explained. Each of our ships can create perfect copies of itself. Your sensors cannot tell which ones are real. But the demonstration was just beginning. The human ships, in both real and holographic, began moving through the Vorthak formation. They passed through the alien vessels as if they were ghosts, completely ignoring shields and armor. Phase technology. Kyung-soo continued his explanation. We can exist in multiple dimensions at once. Your weapons cannot touch us, but ours can certainly touch you. To prove his point, every Vorthak ship suddenly found its weapon systems disabled, not destroyed, just turned off by invisible forces that reached through their shields as if they didn't exist. This is a demonstration, Kyung-soo announced. If this were a real battle, your fleet would already be destroyed. Instead, we're showing you mercy. Admiral Zeth Vor tried to give orders, but his ship's communication systems had been shut down by the humans. All around him, 300 Vorthak vessels floated helplessly in space. The message is simple, Kyung-soo said. The Terran Empire does not respond well to ultimatums. Your council made threats against our people. This is our reply. The human ships began to fade away, returning to their original 12 vessels. But before they disappeared completely, Kyung-soo delivered his final warning. Tell your council that this was just a taste of human capabilities. We could have destroyed every ship here, but we chose not to. Next time we might not be so generous. The human fleet vanished as suddenly as it had appeared, leaving the Vorthak crews in shocked silence. Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. At the Krelian fortress world of Terminus, human ships appeared in orbit and demonstrated weapons that could move entire planets. At the Saurak breeding colonies, invisible human vessels showed they could penetrate any defense. But the most shocking demonstration happened at the Council's own capital world. Intelligence Officer. Ha-Young coordinated the operation from her stealth ship hidden in an asteroid field. She watched through advanced sensors as every Council homeworld suddenly found human ships in their skies. All teams report ready, she announced over the secure quantum channel. Begin Operation Revelation. At exactly the same moment, human ships appeared in orbit around every major Council world. Not attacking, not threatening, just there. Visible to everyone, but untouchable by any weapon. On the Vorthak homeworld, millions of citizens looked up to see sleek human vessels floating silently above their cities. The ships made no hostile moves, but their presence sent a clear message. Humanity could reach anywhere in the galaxy. The same thing happened at 12 different worlds. Krelian warriors tried to shoot down the human ships, but their weapons passed right through them. Saurak scientists tried to scan the vessels, but their instruments detected nothing useful. The psychological impact was devastating. Every Council species suddenly realized that humanity had been watching them, studying them, and could strike at their hearts any time they wanted. Panic spread through Council space. Some species, like the merchant Zalathi, immediately tried to contact Earth directly, hoping to negotiate separate peace treaties. Others, like the proud Krellians, prepared for a desperate last stand. On the Council station at Nexus Prime, emergency meetings ran day and night. The same aliens who had so confidently threatened humanity just days before now faced a terrible truth. They were completely outmatched. "How did we miss this?" demanded the Vorthak leader. "Our intelligence services studied humans for 20 years. They let us see what they wanted us to see," replied a Krellian general grimly. "While we thought we were spying on them, they were actually controlling what information we received." "This changes everything," said the Zathari representative, its insect wings buzzing with nervousness. "If humans have this technology, no species in the galaxy can stand against them," the Sorak delegate hissed in frustration. "We should never have threatened them. We should have tried to make them our allies instead of our enemies. But it was too late for regrets. The Galactic Council had demanded that humanity surrender, and humanity had responded by showing exactly why that would never happen. As reports came in from across the galaxy, the Council leaders began to understand the scope of their mistake. They weren't dealing with lucky primitives who had found a few advanced technologies. They were facing a species that had deliberately hidden capabilities far beyond anything the Council possessed. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted completely, and there was no way to shift it back. The final confrontation came sooner than anyone expected. The Galactic Council's combined fleet, 53,000 ships strong, arrived at the edge of human space 3 days early. They came not with confidence but with desperate fear. Admiral J. Sung waited for them in the Proxima Centauri system, with just 50 human ships. To the alien observers, it looked like madness. How could 50 vessels stand against the largest fleet in galactic history? Council Fleet Marshal Keth Ron, a veteran Krellian warrior, led the alien armada from his flagship Domination. He had fought in dozens of wars and never lost a battle, but as he looked at the small human fleet on his screens, he felt something he had never experienced before: doubt. "Sir, the humans are broadcasting a message," his communication officer reported. Admiral J. Sung appeared on the main screen. He was a calm-looking man with gray hair and steady eyes. Behind him, the bridge of his ship looked almost ordinary compared to the elaborate alien command centers. "Fleet Marshal Keth Ron," J. Sung said politely. "I am Admiral J. Sung of the Terran Imperial Navy. We need to talk," Keth Ron snarled, showing his pointed teeth. "The time for talk is over, human. Your species chose war when you refused the Council's generous terms, and did we?" J. Sung asked. "Or did the Council choose war when it made demands no free species could accept?" "You are 50 ships against 53,000, Keth Ron replied. "Surrender now and your crews will be treated with honor." J. Sung smiled sadly. "Marshal, you still don't understand what you're facing. Let me show you." The 50 human ships suddenly began to change. Their hulls shifted and flowed like liquid metal, transforming into shapes the aliens had never seen before. Energy signatures spiked to impossible levels. "Phase 1 transformation complete," J. Sung announced. "Our ships are now operating in enhanced combat configuration." But the real surprise came next. Space itself seemed to ripple around the human fleet, and suddenly there weren't 50 ships, there were 50,000. Each original vessel had created hundreds of perfect duplicates using advanced holographic technology. "Now we're evenly matched," J. Sung said. "Would you like to reconsider?" Keth Ron stared at his screens in disbelief. His sensors couldn't tell which human ships were real and which were illusions. For all he knew, every single one could be deadly. "Impossible," he whispered. "No species has technology like this." "You're right," J. Sung agreed. "No other species does. Humanity has been very busy during our 20 years in space. The alien fleet tried to maintain formation, but fear was spreading through their ranks. Captains who had been eager for battle just minutes before now questioned whether they could win. "Attack," Keth Ron commanded. "All ships open fire." 53,000 alien ships unleashed their weapons at once. The space between the two fleets lit up with energy beams, plasma bolts, and missile trails. It was the largest display of firepower in galactic history. Every shot passed harmlessly through the human ships. "Phase technology," Admiral J. Sung explained patiently. "We exist slightly outside normal spacetime. Your weapons simply cannot touch us." Then the human fleet began its counterattack, and the aliens learned what true advanced technology looked like. Instead of destroying the alien ships, the humans did something far more unsettling. They began relocating them. Gravity cannons reached out and grabbed Council vessels not to crush them, but to move them through space itself. One moment, a Vorthak battleship was part of the alien formation. The next moment, it was floating alone near a distant star, completely unharmed but thousands of light years away from the battle. "What are you doing to us?" Kethron demanded as he watched his fleet disappear ship by ship. "We're giving you a lesson in humility," Jae-sung replied. "Every ship we relocate will find itself near a habitable world with supplies and equipment to survive. Your crews are not being killed, they're being taught." A Sorak dreadnought vanished, reappearing in orbit around a peaceful farming world. A Zathari carrier found itself moved to an uninhabited system with rich mineral deposits. Each relocated crew received the same message: consider this a lesson in the consequences of threatening humanity. Within an hour, the mighty Council fleet had been reduced to just a few dozen ships. Marshal Kethron's flagship was among the last remaining, and his crew was terrified. "Why?" Kethron asked. "Why show us mercy? You could have destroyed us all." "Because that's not who we are," Admiral Jae-sung answered. "Humanity doesn't seek to conquer or destroy. We simply refuse to be conquered or destroyed by others." With a final gravitational wave, the remaining Council ships were relocated to safe positions throughout the galaxy. The great battle was over and not a single being had died. 3 months later, the Proxima Conference convened to establish a new galactic order. Emperor Dong-hyun addressed the reformed Galactic Assembly from a podium that floated in the center of the Great Hall. The same aliens who had once threatened humanity now sat quietly in their floating chairs, listening to the human leader speak. "For too long," the Emperor said, "this galaxy has been ruled by fear and intimidation. Stronger species have dominated weaker ones through threats and violence." He gestured to representatives from dozens of species, not just the original Council members, but smaller civilizations that had been oppressed for centuries. "The old system is finished," Emperor Dong-hyun continued. "From this day forward, the galaxy will be governed by cooperation, not domination." Ambassador Hyun-woo, the same human who had faced the Council's ultimatum months before, stood to read the new galactic charter. "Every species has the right to govern itself," he announced. "No civilization may threaten another with violence. Technology and knowledge will be shared freely among those who approach as friends." The former Council species had little choice but to agree. They had seen what happened when they tried to threaten humanity, and none wanted to repeat that experience. But something remarkable happened in the following years. Without the fear of Council retaliation, smaller species began to flourish. Trade increased throughout the galaxy. Scientific cooperation led to discoveries that benefited everyone. Humanity shared their medical technologies, helping to cure diseases that had plagued other species for millennia. Their terraforming techniques turned dead worlds into gardens. Their communication systems allowed species to talk with each other across vast distances. Some alien civilizations remained suspicious of human power, but they could not argue with the results. The galaxy was more peaceful and prosperous than it had been in thousands of years. Admiral Jae-sung, now serving as humanity's representative to the Galactic Assembly, often met with former enemies who had become friends. Marshal Kethron himself had become an unlikely ally, helping to maintain peace in the outer systems. "I still don't understand," Kethron admitted during one of their meetings. "Your species could rule the entire galaxy. Why don't you?" Jae-sung smiled. "Because ruling others was never our goal. We came to the stars to explore, to learn, to grow. We found a galaxy full of species who could teach us amazing things. If only they weren't busy trying to conquer each other. And if someone threatens you again? Then they'll learn the same lesson the Council did," Jae-sung replied calmly. "Humanity will never kneel before those who demand our submission, but will always extend our hand to those who offer friendship." The new galactic order was not perfect, but it was better than what came before. And at its heart was a simple principle that humanity had demonstrated through strength rather than words. True power lies not in dominating others, but in lifting them up alongside you. The galaxy would never be the same.